Here we are at the Aliquot Golf Club in Orlando, Florida, and I'm with my good friend Joe Daniels, who is president of the Golfing Machine. For me, he deserves every accolade I could possibly give him, and certainly expert is the smallest of those. So I'm going to ask Joe to tell us a little bit about the Golfing Machine. And how did it all start, Joe?
Thank you, Peter, for that kind introduction. I really appreciate it.
No problem.
The Golfing Machine started with a gentleman named Mr. Kelly, the author of the book. And in the late 30s, he was invited to play some golf. And he recanted because he did not know how to play. So he was given a few golf lessons, and he went out and shot the commiserating 117 for his 18 holes. And when he got back, he started thinking about what he had learned and what was missing. And the impetus behind the Golfing Machine came because he felt like he didn't get any concrete information. So he worked on some principles for about 6 months, and his second round of golf, he shot 77. And so there's quite a change in scoring. And then he set out to find out why he could do what he did. And he really thought it would only take him a few months and he'd have this project done and off he'd go on to something else. And every time he found a different concept, it left him down a different pathway. And in the mid-50s, he was hitting some golf balls, and leaving the range, he turned to his wife and said, "You know, see that gentleman right there? He only needs a few little pieces of information and he'd get much better." And she said to him, "Why don't you write it down?" And so that was the start of the Golfing Machine that was published in 1969. So in short, that's what he did.
Well, you know, that's an absolutely incredible story, and as we know, a very true story. So the evolution since that time has been quite dramatic. What are the differences now that that this knowledge makes in our industry?
Well, the Golfing Machine sets itself apart by actually going into what we would consider the scientific area. So the scientific principles would be the geometry. So how is a circle made in the golf swing, and what is the plane? And so with that comes 3 imperatives that Mr. Kelly came about in finding in his thought process. And one of them was the primary alignment being the flat left wrist. And with that, he found that if the left wrist were flat, it would stay in a line with the left arm and be able to control the club shaft, club head, and club face, with the other 2 imperatives being the lagging club head and the plane itself. So with that, with those 3 imperatives, he really thought that you could play a really good game of golf with understanding those. And the more precise you want it to become, you would just work on those and a few other little concepts, and you could increase or decrease your scoring ability, increase your ability.
Is this a methodology, or is this?
Well, you know, methodology to us means, if you will, if you take 50% green and 50% blue and 50% yellow, you get green. That's a methodology. Ours is more systematic, which would mean that if you took 20% blue and 30% yellow and 10% white and 5% black, you would come up with a different shade. So system means that there's addable pieces that are adjustable, and that's really what it's all about.
And you would say that was one of the main advantages of using a Golfing Machine instructor?
Exactly. The main advantage is that we are all human beings, but we're all very different.
Okay.
We stand differently, etc. And so with those differences, the authorized instructors of the Golfing Machine have the ability to adjust the knowledge that that person needs for their specific stroke.
So, you know, I found by dedicating myself to the knowledge of the Golfing Machine and then to passing on that knowledge to the coaches, that we've had a dramatic change in the performance of our golf coaches. How do golf coaches find you? How do they find out about this knowledge and add to their current skill sets?
Well, thankfully, through people like you. And that's really true. Word of mouth has been our best advertiser and support group, because it comes from people where they said, listen, I went to this class, I learned a lot, and now I have changed my coaching. We're also available on the website at www.thegolfingmachine.com. We do the PGA Merchandise Show every year, and those are pretty much our basis. But word of mouth from golf professionals like yourself and others around the world have helped flourish the golfing machine.
Well, that's good to know that I'm doing my bit. What about the golfing public? You know, how do the golfing public find the superior golf coaches around the world?
Well, that's a great question as well. On the website, we actually have Find an Instructor. So you go up onto the website and it asks to find an instructor, and you can pick the country that you're in and the location, and there will be hopefully somebody near you. Still a pretty small group, but a pretty intense group as it may be, about their love and passion for the golfing machine and golf in general.
You know, thanks, Joe, for your time today. And let me tell you, you know, Joe, if you want to pick up the phone and just call him personally, he will talk to you, and you'll get all the help you can. So thank you very much, Joe. Cheers.
Thank you, Peter.
Thank you.
I appreciate it.